Today we're going to take the N35v4 Meshtastic tracker from Meshnology out of its box and put it into this box right here. I'm going to show you how to build it. I'm going to show you how to flash it. I'm going to show you how to connect it to your control surface, not a cell phone, and I'm going to show you how to send messages back and forth. Let's get over to the bench and start the assembly. Oh, I got some chapters down below for you as well. If you want to skip right to the flashing part or the assembly part or the sending messages part, I got you covered. You got some more Meshtastic stuff to build. I love playing with this stuff. This is the N35. We got a nice case, which comes with the parts that we need to get the job done, some buttons and everything to go in there. This is a 3D printed case, but it's actually a pretty cool case. I kind of like that design. Rounded corners. Pretty cool. All right, over here we've got a spicy pillow. So this is a 3000 milliamp hour battery, so it's probably gonna last you all day. That'll fit inside the case. And then these things come taped shut. The Heltec V4 in all its glory. We're gonna get it put in the case. And the Heltec V4 comes with all the parts that it comes with. So you get pin headers if you're gonna do LoRa pin header type stuff. You get an internal antenna, power wires for your different hookups. We're not going to need those. You get I want to say that's a UFL connector on that side and an SMA connector on that side for your external antenna and the external antenna. So let's figure out how this goes together. We need to put parts on the table. So that's a piece of foam and there's a button, and this button is labeled V4. So we'll put that in the buttonhole down there. That should work. Maybe it's got one side that it goes in and one side that it doesn't. Oh yeah, look at that. One button. I took this kindergarten class. One button is square and one button is round. And as you all know, the square button goes in the round hole.
A cylinder. I think that goes in the square hole.
It doesn't. Just in case some of you are watching and ready to go down to the comment section below and yell at me. So there is that. Where's the buttons? They're on this side. So there's a little cutout for the USB-C to go in, and I want to verify that the buttons still work, or if I need to put the pad on, this little pad right here that they give you for some resilience, for some spring in your button step. That's looking pretty good so far. Let's try it with the pad and see. Yep, I think I'm going to put the pad on. That seems to be a good idea to me. That one goes in there. That one goes in there. We need battery and antenna next. And we even have a little GPS unit that comes with the Heltec V4. So we need that also. And that only goes on to one connector and it only goes on one way, so we can't screw it up. That was the Heltec V4 snapping into place inside of the case. So I'm going to rotate that around. Looks like it goes in that slot there. And that would be for a lanyard, I guess. But they didn't give us a lanyard, so you got to bring your own. Good thing we have Balfangs with plenty of lanyards that nobody likes. Okay, and then the external antenna. This comes with a bunch of different pieces for lock washers. So you get a regular brass nut, and then a split ring washer, and then a star washer. And I'm just going to use the star washer. And that nut on the inside recesses nicely. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. Recesses nicely inside the case to hold it in place on the inside. And then that leaves us room for that. And I'll be able to put the antenna on. So mine is on upside down. So I'll make an adjustment. And I could force the cable to go in the right direction, but I have mechanical empathy. So I'm going to put the antenna connector on first. And these things are kind of fun to get on. There's no real good technique that I'm aware of. So if you have a good technique for getting these UFL connectors on, leave a comment down below and let me know. But I just fiddle with it until it gets on, and then I'm happy enough to keep on keeping on. This antenna connector here is for the 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi or Bluetooth antenna. This connector right here is for the Meshtastic antenna, and if you look real closely, it even tells you the frequency ranges on there. So that way you can plug it in properly. See, I did know where it goes after all, you know, because you can see all the instructions that I got with the kit. Get into my kit and get out my tweezers and use those to kind of manipulate that around. Love this kit. There we go. So that's in there, and then that coax lays nice and flat out of the way. Put that star washer back on, tighten that down. Antenna on, GPS in, battery. And on the corner of the Heltec V4, one of these says battery on it, and the other one says solar on it. So you'll know which one is which. So we'll lift that up. The battery is the one that is on, in this orientation, it's the one that's on the left-hand side. And that should have turned it on. Yep, that turned it on. And what's the best way to get the battery in the case? Yes. In order to stop any of this stuff here from being difficult with the battery, I'm going to put the sticker on the... Well, first let's figure out how it goes in there. I am going to put the sticker on there, but I want to put the sticker on in a good way. Okay, so like that. And that holds it in place and holds the GPS unit. It gets stuck on the wall for the GPS unit. So now I'm going to put this on the battery. We're going to put that in there, put our case on, verify everything looks pretty good, and it does. You probably know JLC PCB for regular circuit boards, but they also make custom flexible PCBs. I'm not going to pretend every project on my bench needs a bendy circuit board, but for compact electronics, weird enclosures, tight routing, or board-to-board connections, flexible PCB can be a cleaner option than trying to cram wires into places wires do not want to go. JLC PCB's flexible PCB service uses precision LDI technology for accurate trace alignment and adhesiveless PI film for better reliability and thermal performance. They also offer options like transparent flexible PCBs and different stiffeners, including PI, FR4, and stainless steel. For small prototype runs, JLC PCB says 2-layer flexible PCBs under 100 by 100 millimeters start at just $2, with minimum orders starting at 5 pieces. So if you're designing something compact and a normal rigid PCB is not quite the right shape, take a look at JLC PCB's flexible PCB service. Use the link in the description to get $10 off your first flexible PCB order. Now back to the thing I actually know how to break. So these have these retaining nuts that slide into the case. Like that and like that, and then I will use my screwdriver kit here, and these are Phillips head. Click, click. I mean, why did you... There it is. I was gonna say, it went off. Perfect. Okay. Slide the nuts on the other side. Oh, this one's being persnickety. There we go. The nut wasn't in far enough. Click. So this last one here wants me to thread it all the way through. Okay, that's what we'll do. Click. Beautiful. LoRa mode 0. We got to get these guys flashed. I've got my N35v4 all ready to go, and I've got a USB cable here. We're not going to do anything yet. I just wanted to, set the stage for what's coming up here. We need to go to a web page called flasher.meshtastic.org. Let me bring that up on the screen for you real quick. And here she is. So let's select a target device. We just put this thing together. We know exactly what this is. We don't really need to do any auto detect stuff. It's nicer later on down the line, but I don't think the auto detect works on an out-of-the-box brand new device. If you've already flashed before, then it will work for you. Hit Heltec. Again, we just put it together. We know what it is. And it's the Heltec V4. So I'm going to pick that one up, and then I'm going to pick the latest version of the software, 271556. I'm going to hit the flash version. You're going to get some information here. If this is your first time, none of this stuff really matters. If you experience Bluetooth pairing failures, we're going to do USB, so that doesn't matter. This likely indicates you need to perform a full erase and flash, which is what we're going to do anyway. But since we haven't paired anything yet, we don't know if we're experiencing that problem. This release marks the end of legacy non-private DMs. Great. Brand new to us, we don't have any legacy non-private DMs. A huge changelog of all kinds of stuff that has changed, and you can go all the way back and read the full changelog from the beginning until now, and then you can hit continue, which is what we're going to do to go on. So, step number 1, ensure your device is plugged in via USB. Ta-da! And since this is the first time that we're plugging this in and we're doing the first thing on a device that has never had Meshtastic on it before, we should be good to go from here, but we'll find out. And your old buddy T.O. here is going to tell you if there are any gotchas along the way. Choose a baud rate. You can go faster. It's going to take about 3 seconds. There's no reason to go faster. I'm not that impatient in life. I'm going to do a full erase and install, and I am not going to pick the Meshtastic UI. The Meshtastic UI is the fancy touchscreen interface, and this doesn't have a fancy touchscreen, so it's not going to work if you pick that. So don't pick that. And then, because I'm doing a full erase, it's warning me about the device's public and private keys needing to be backed up. I don't have public and private keys, I'm not going to be able to back up the things that I don't have. If you have those and you would like to back them up, check out this guide in our documentation by clicking this link right here. And then I'm going to do erase flash and install. So when we do that, it's going to ask me for a device, and you can see this device list here. It's not a Bluetooth incoming port. The D450 is a printer of mine. This is a microphone that I'm actually talking to you guys on. The RYBC01 is a headset, so it ain't that. It's not a debug console. This serial debugging unit, this USB JTAG thing, that might be it. And it's not a WLAN device because it's not connected over the WLAN. So another quick way to verify that it's the right device is if I unplug this, it disappears off the screen. And if I plug it back in, it reappears on the screen. So I'm going to pick that one now that I've proven to myself beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is actually this device. And I'm going to hit connect. And then you're going to see it connecting, you're going to see it erasing flash, which might take a while. And then you're going to see some progress indication as it does start doing its thing, as if it was queued up to do that right at that right moment when I said so. After it does the erase, it's going to do the flash of the software. And then when that's done, it's going to attempt to do a hard reset and get it up and running for you. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't work. If it doesn't work, it's not the end of the world. Just unplug the device and go. Here's the hard reset attempt, which doesn't appear to be doing anything, which is just fine. But you're done flashing at this point. You might get it successfully to boot up and show you the color screen and ready to roll. You might not a big deal. We're going to go over to the bench and we're going to start sending messages back and forth and see how that works. This is the N35v4. We're going to go ahead and turn it on together and see how well that works out. So we're going to hold down the round button instead. And I see no activity, but I still ain't scared. There it is. Just took it a while. And it's got the new version. And that first message that popped up said that you can select items by clicking once, or you can actually take action on the item by clicking more than once. So I'm going to go down. Actually, let me reset the camera here real quick. So I am going to go down a bit here by just pushing this top round button once. And you can see that it moved down to US. I'm in the US region. I'm going to pick that. But if you're in a different region, pick a different region. If you're in a different region that uses a different band plan, pick that region and that band plan. You can see how it says 433 or 868, I think. I'm not in that region. So now that I've got US picked, I'm going to long press. And it's going to reboot, and that's going to take a while. And we're back. Awesome. Do I have enough battery juice in this guy here? Meshtastic. And we are launching the Meshtastic app. And then this one here, since it's a tablet, it has a little bit of a different layout, but I'm still going to hit that same connection button down there. And now I can see, this looks like it's an older version of the software. I can see that Bluetooth is actually there. So I'm going to scan for Bluetooth devices. And we found F500, which is this device here. You can see F500 on the screen there. So over here, I'm going to pick it. Let's disconnect from the unknown device, and let's connect to that one. Let's scan again. Sometimes you just got to play around a little bit. I was in the middle of pairing, and I messed it up. And sometimes you just got to be patient, which I wasn't. So we need to reset. So I just pushed the lower square button. Now I'm long pressing the top button. And we're booted up. And so now I've done the scan again, and we've got the F500, so I'm going to pick that. Pairing request, and it's asking me for the numbers that I see on the screen, just like it did on the other one, 976520. And then we'll hit OK. And behind the scenes, it's trying to connect, I think. Bonding failed. That's okay. It probably failed because this thing needed to go through some type of reset, but you can see that we got connected there. So now I can go into conversations, and I should be able to go into long fast here, and I should be able to send a message to myself. And if I wait long enough, you see a little cloud there. And now it has a check mark next to it, which means something on the network has seen it. And if I look over here, you can see that that message was received by this device here. So now I'm going to reply, my very creative conversation skills, and I'm going to send that. And it is trying, and it has sent. And over here, it has been received. So depending on your area, you might see some more nodes or not see some more nodes in the area. This one here has not seen a whole lot of nodes because we just turned it on. But if I leave this thing on for a while, there is a repeater just outside that I can see. And I am currently in Rosebud, Texas, and that repeater I think can see all the way up to Temple, which is about 20 minutes away, because where we are is pretty flat. Now, if we go over here on the tablet interface, it's a little bit different as well. So I'm going to go into Mesh Map. And after a minute or so, they should be able to see each other and have exchanged positions. That, I think, was all you needed to know about doing the N35v4 from Meshnology. I will leave a link in the description down below where you can pick one of these up for yourself. If you already have a Heltec V4, then you can grab the case for this thing super cheap. But this thing comes in a variety of colors: black, blue, red, green, and twilight purple, I think, off the top of my head. Oh, and I also used this one in the video. If you want to see how I built and configured this one, I will leave that video for you right over here. Thanks for being awesome. I'll see you over there.